Welcome into the abode. Glad you're here today. Yes, that's definitely at West Coast Uncenter. Glad you're here today. Appreciate all of you guys who always check in, send me messages, stay connected, and have decided to kind of go another way because there's something that's happened to you. Experiences can change your life. And you see my face on my left hand? The two faces popping up to you? Yeah, look at that. That's weird. Must be a picture back here. That's the only thing I can think of. And there is one like that back there. Wow. This decoded the mystification. But anyways, just glad to have you. Man, how was the egregor? Did that egregor make sense to you? Yeah, it definitely was a powerful video to me, the egregor. Definitely. So you see this thing's at work. There's a lot of stuff in energetic fields playing out all the time. And we have not really been noticing, or we have been, and we're aware that everything here just really doesn't appear to be what it seemed to be before. Some of us went through processes where it's like, something's not right about this. And then you went through a process where you're looking at stuff and you're seeing things differently from maybe you used to. Maybe some of this, there's aspects of this that's been in you since a little girl, a little boy, whatever your situation could be. This is also prevalent. I can actually tell you timelines of certain things, but I can also tell you there's times even as a young boy, I was seeing stuff. And I think on an older video, I shared an experience I had as a very young boy when I was, God, maybe as young as 4, but maybe 4 or 5. There was a day that seemed like a day like no other, that it lasted a long time. And now I look at it in time as being that age. It only might have been an hour experience or a couple hours, if that long. But I had an experience that I can go back to that timeline and say, there was something that I was even knowing as a little boy that was different. Even as a teen, I even didn't put it together because I went through my teen years as being, teen, doing stuff, rebellious, trying to do stuff, trying to have these experiences that probably wasn't ready for, in many different aspects. Just not one aspect, you thinking of sex all the time. But of course that was there as your hormones are raging as a teenager and as you go into late teens, of course. But I even remember saying the statement, but I couldn't tell together, but I had told a friend when I was 16, hey, we need a revolution. But if you ask me, what do you mean by that? I really couldn't tell you like I could now, right? Like Charles said the other day, the revolution won't be televised. But anyways, we're going in today. How many of you have ever heard of Samsara, like Sam and Sarah? Samsara, it's spelled like this, Samsara, Samsara. It is a very ancient, very old Buddhist and Hindu connection to birth and rebirth. And we are going to talk about how this affects us, our experiences. We're going to go into some things about it. We're going to even go into the etymology about it. We're going to go on some other things about it. And I am looking to see how we can see that sometimes we have been on timelines of repeat and repeat. And maybe being stuck on the Ferris wheel, if I may say so. And just keep going on. You don't get off say you went to the fair and you got on the Ferris wheel and never got off the whole evening, and you just kept going around and around, and new people come in, and new people, and you just stay in it. And you say, and so why I'm saying that is sometimes we can feel like we're stuck in this repeat and repeat. That's why many out there are pushing a narrative, feeling that we're on a prison planet, right? I've never really looked at it as this. I get it because of what we see on this 3D with the reality of how the shows ran. It really feels like the inmates are running the asylum. Come on now, let's be honest. It is. But what is the process of what I really started looking into, what has been the process. One of the things, like Seven Bomar used to say in Secret Energy, was one of the things that drove him was the fact that he wanted to know, and through his process, whoever he interacted with, and even interacting with stars when he was in Atlanta, music stars, athletes, that he realized they didn't know. And his question was, I need to find out what happens after you die. That was kind of the thing that drove him into the change he ended up having. I don't know if many of you here know who Seven Bomar is. He was somebody that's really helped me along the roads from the early, like 2014 and on. I definitely is connected and know that. Didn't stay in Secret Energy forever because I didn't feel to. I didn't feel the letting, the not staying. It's because I know that I need to go and get other levels of different stuff. But definitely still just so much respect for him. Still listen to some of his videos when he comes out or he does specials. Like his just good word. Actually acquainted me with the occult and the meanings and some of the this, but then I took it a little farther as I went into other aspects. I learned another aspect from like a certain other person. Was awakening, having these revelations and having these understandings, especially since the spring, the fall of last year went to another level, and then is upgraded recently to another level. Excuse me, woo! But tied in last year's upgrade recently, what was recent is tied it into making a clarity for me. I went to another clarity recently. Definitely went to another really clear, right? But let's go into this. Samsara. All right, let's start here. I don't know if there's anything I need to do with mine. And I know what I wanted to do here with Samsara was kind of go to the first page of this. There we go. So Samsara is a noun. Hinduism, Buddhism, it talks about the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, which all of us know, being born again and again and again. And even in this life, we notice we have cycles happening even when before we leave this physical, even in this time. I mean, it's the mirror images. Look at the cycles of spring, summer, fall, and winter, right? These same things just keep repeating in cycles. So when you start looking at samsara, this would be that kind of study. So here we see in Wikipedia, here it's mentioning the cyclicity of life, matter of existence, fundamental belief, most Indian religions, the concept of samsara. Buddhism, samsara. Jainism, samsara. Puja, Janman would be samsara. I thought we were going to open up. Let's see if we could open it up a little bit. Let's see what we got. Yeah. So, word that means wandering as well as world. This is very powerful. The wandering is we can get stuck. And we're stuck, we're in a 3D reality. And really, this ties into something I said that I was going to end up doing, which will tie into this, is understanding the depth of our experience when we went from an all unified field, not having a physical body, and how this even affected us in our fall, being splintered into duality, into a material, caught in matter, that we are just like, hey, what the hell is this crap? And what came with it was being stuck in matter for a lot of us. We didn't know why. We forgot. I mean, it was held from us. It's like we came from the space of unity consciousness, and then the great fall, which all religions and all spiritual talks about the great fall, of falling. They're calling it sin in Christianity or others, but it was really the fall from a unique oneness consciousness place, no challenges, but no need for nothingness, because you're in nothingness. And really, there's not even a reflection that you need a reflection of a change of light to restore you, reflecting, to even have an introspective, if I may say, or a reflection time with yourself. The experience, and then to experience stuff, quick fall, right? You're falling. You're falling, and then all of a sudden you splinter off, get divided from this area of connection to matter. And you're not an adult dealing with this, you're a baby. And then there's trauma through the pregnancies for these babies, whether you know it or not. And mothers, you guys should all know it. I'm talking about this individual soul that went from the connection of all, but nothingness, where everything was but nothingness. No challenges, nothing to. And now you don't know who you are, you don't remember. You talk about, and there's even, I see even in this aspect of this, abandonment issues from your former state. It's like, what the hell? And then you don't remember. And our whole thing here is trying to remember, hence from whence we came from and how we're connecting. Now, I'm going to do some videos to show you how this works. That's why I don't buy Prism Planet, but I do understand that the higher and the lower this realm came to had its purpose, but you had only have free will. In the lower realms, you have a lot of universal natural law and karma that keeps being present with you. The more freedom you get as you raise your consciousness, the freedom is raising it back up. So this is the descended. We descended hard, mofos. Our soul descended hard and came out as a baby. And think about human babies compared to the animal babies. There's a huge difference in human babies and animal babies. I mean, you get a horse, pony, little baby horse, that little joker can stand. Human babies can't do shit for themselves for a long time, right? They're totally dependent on the mother and father or any family member there. And coming from a place where this is not an experience I had, what the hell is this place? Physical forms? When I came from an unphysical form and had no challenges, just sat in the nothingness, I didn't need to have anything in that space. I didn't need to be challenged in that space. Challenges don't work in that space. There is no temptation for this and that. And this is the process of this would cause an abandonment. Then we go through lives maybe with mothers and fathers and we feel we get abandoned and neglected. So now you have this process. So this is samsara and we get stuck. But anyways, cycles. So as well as the world, we're in the term connotes cyclic change, less formally running around in circles. It is referred to the terms of phrases such as trends, migration, reincarnation, karmic cycle, Punjanman, cycle of aimless drifting, wandering, or mundane existence. When related to the theory of karma is the cycle of death and rebirth continuance. It's a circle, it's a cyclical. So what we're seeing here is that we come through this and it runs in cycles. Remember, you take a circle, right? Perfect zero, and it's a perfect circle, like a monad, even a little monad is a circle, right? But then when you take this circle and twist it like a balloon, you create an infinity symbol, right? Think about it. You can create an infinity symbol out of an eight by just twisting it, the circle, doing a different geometry with the one circle, then twisting, and now you have an infinity laid down sideways. And it's infinity, but also it's running in cycles now because the cycle is the twist. You go cycle of life, it's twisting. It's going from death to rebirth. Remember, what's dying is this physical life, which really is not death. We're always dying to something. We're always being born to something. We're being birthed to something. My thing is, when you start seeing this, what happens is these cycles can start running through the programming, through not learning, maybe even rejecting, not being called to it, not accepting call to it, is you can run cycles over and over and over and not have an inch of movement of your consciousness moving or increasing to start understanding. We talked about here about the fractals, right? The fragmented. This goes into being fragmented. That fall created a fragmented, falling and it's breaking. You came and boom, immediately, yin and yang, left and right. Goes like this. You got a dark side and a light side. And you're this little baby is a baby in this physical form is like, could you imagine them going through a very, very, very trauma birth besides the fall? So trauma, fall, trauma, birth, through this process that is very hard. And babies remember that. Your inner child records every birth and everything, even before, during ingestion, even before coming out physically. That's why it's really important to do the inner healing. The inner healing, many will say, well, we're stuck in a present planet. Do the inner healing. And if you think you know, maybe you don't know and need to take it to another level of doing it and meeting those who do know how to do this. Alchemy is a huge important part, and I really realized I didn't implement it. I would halfway do, but I actually got so much understanding of it the last 6-7 weeks. It's blowing my mind that I didn't know this years ago, but there's a purpose why I didn't know it in this level years ago, because everything that led me to now was like connected to now with what I receive now in the upgrade of self. Even dreams I had a year and a half ago now make more sense. And the connection of the higher self to how this operates there and how we need to connect and how we're not just helping ourselves, but helping even our higher aspects. So, and the wandering, it goes me back, I've mentioned here multiple times, there's a Hindu story about people wandering. The wander, it says here, wandering, right? It's turning around in Samsara, right? And going through a cycle of aimless drifting, life to life, not increasing, wandering and mundane existence. Feeling, and this even would leave a traumatic imprint on us from the fall to even this aspect where we need assistance how to heal ourselves, because once you heal yourself and go through this, you empower yourself and either many other things that we'll be talking about how this is related in the connective unity part of this, not the divided lower realm stuff that we see. Everything seems so divided and everything's trying to divide us from race, religion, color, job, height, sex, just divide and conquer mentality. Is that we did have that abandonment issue, separation issues, even from our fall. And then we get mundane lives. So in that Hindu's little story, what they said was that the people wandered so far outside themselves, they didn't know way back. This is what this is talking about. People don't know their way back. And this is the time for many of us is now. This is our time to press and understand that. This is a time to awake yourself and not fall for every okey doke that somebody would come in your presence bringing something that just outright is just silliness, if I may say so. And then, just being, which that's why I keep mentioning here, I've really learned, and I have had discernment for a long time, but how the discernment raises in many different ways of awareness, that now it increases, and that your discernment is one of your biggest connections to higher self, because your discernment's not stopping here on this level, it even's going up to the higher levels, your discernment. But anyway, so the existence. Yep. So let's look at etymology and see what it tells us. endless cycles of death and rebirth, migration of souls from the Sanskrit Samsara, a wandering through, the wanderer, denoting completeness from Sam, one as one together, to run the glide. Not much here in here about it. Not going into, here's another one, it's like water, which separates of the blood, coagulation of blood and wounds, the flowing. And Sanskrit, actually, Sara means flowing liquid, which would be a river, brook. It makes sense to me. Flowing liquid, it'd be the emotional mind. That's one of the biggest things we can, hell, we can go and, hey man, you have all kinds of spiritual knowledge, you're freaking good. You do that, but your 5-year-old in your emotional state, that's got to be fixed. Your emotional body. Because if we're spiritually just got it all going on, but we're immature in these other levels, doesn't give us wholeness. And this takes a healing and a process of that. Anything under here, anything else here? So of course, I'm gonna have what I have. I got to share a little bit about this process, and I think this video will help. Definitely, I believe this video will help add to what I was saying in this process. So we're gonna start with, as you know, already see here, we got something going on called, why is it doing that? Okay, called a commercial, but we'll rushed through that and get to the video.
Nutrition. Get all of this in every sip.
Of course, you're gonna go, Sarah. I was actually looking for Samsara, but it wasn't exactly. I couldn't find that video. But this definitely.
There are certain spiritual terms that get used in different settings and have a different meaning depending on what region that they're being used in and depending on what context. Dharma is one of them. So today I'm going to be talking about the many meanings of Dharma, and at the end of this video, I will share with you the esoteric meaning of Dharma. Dharma is a multifaceted term. It has many faces to it. In the ultimate sense of the term, Dharma refers to what's known as cosmic law. And the meaning of cosmic law is the essential nature of the universe. That's why the closest term in English to represent this higher concept is nature. So Dharma means a being's nature. The universe's nature when we're referring to cosmic law, and then downward through there, a being's nature. Each particle within this universe has an intrinsic way of being. It has an affinity, and it has an essential nature. We see this even in the elemental kingdom. For instance, water's dharma, or nature, is to be fluid, is to yield, is to be shapeless. These are all the...
And you might say, well, that's not talking about Samsara. It is. Remember, it talked about Samsara having the Sara part, which was water flow. Karma is the repeating cycle wheel of wandering. When we really start turning our karma in, for our dharma changes the game. Enlightenment changes the game. This aspect of it. So you see now there's a flow from Sarah. Remember, it's Samsara.
Attributes that carry out the nature of this element. Both in Eastern and Western astrology, our personal dharma is linked with our rising or ascendant sign, because it's the specific sliver of time that we emerged out of in order to fill our higher duty. And then we can see this within humanity as well. Only with humanity, since we are a composite of all the elements, our dharma, aka our essential nature, is just a little bit more complex. Because now we have a personal dharma and we have a humanity dharma. So our personal dharma is what is specific to us. Our dharma is our own unique intrinsic nature that separates us from all of humanity and what sets a boundary between us and the rest of our experience. For instance, one person's essential nature, aka their dharma, might be to be self-reflective or sensitive, and in doing so, they might become a philosopher, let's say. and that would be congruent with their dharma. Another person's essential nature may be inclined more towards the sciences, where they would thrive as an engineer or a quantum physicist. So there's a personal aspect to dharma that we have, where we use our innate gifts and inclinations towards a higher purpose. So in this aspect of dharma, the one that is unique and personal to us, we are using the character or the persona that we are to express our soul's essential nature. And by doing so, we are having the character become a vessel or an instrument for the soul, which is the highest calling that the character, aka the ego, can do, is be in service to the soul. So when the character, or the ego, uses its essential nature for a larger purpose, this is a being following their dharma.
Say goodbye to old.
I wanted to there. This is really the crossover from samsara, when you start knowing and you start turning in your karma, right, for your dharma, which actually, karma is not a taskmaster, it's a teacher. And it's teaching you there so you get introspective when you see it, keep repeating. And many of us know when certain things that we keep doing may not be feeding us. And some of us are just aware of what's going on. You know yourself better. Sometimes we have blind spots. But even though on the karmic wheel, when you're stuck, you might even be stuck for 25% of views came off, 75 remains. Then all of a sudden 50% of views came off and then you're like, okay, 50%'s running into my dharma. Now 50% still has karma, because there's aspects of ourselves. We're more than one. Our consciousness of us is more than one. We're not what we look like in the mirror. We're more than that. As soon as I get this, I'll definitely get out of this commercial.
Old costly cable TV once and for all. This revolutionary invention gives you access to your.
The second aspect of dharma that is specific to humans, and which separates human dharma from animal dharma, is that humanity's collective dharma is to merge with infinite consciousness. In other words, a human being's dharma is to expand. And this expansion occurs during a spiritual awakening journey. We are encoded for and designed to raise our level of consciousness to such an extent that we merge our individual consciousness with infinite consciousness. This is known in the spiritual community as embodying our higher self, or
So this is coming off the wheel. And this is why I'm playing this, is to show you that when you come off the wheel and go into this other level of connecting this consciousness that she's talking about, what she's explaining right now, is how you get off the wheel. And this is how you get entrusted. It's like your children. You trust certain children with more freedoms than you do other children's, because of what? How they are, how they act, how mature they are. Same with us, as we're coming off the karmic wheel of just wandering, and we're starting to find our purposes and stuff. This is why you now have more access into freedom of choice. And I'm not talking about Devo, which I might have to break that song down. But you're coming, now you have more willpower or more freedom of freedom to be a soul that makes choices. When you're down here, there's so much karmic law that it just keeps just coming at us. But as we raise out of that density into a more equipped person, then the change comes. You're at the lower aspect of being asleep, and that you can't have any free will, right? Free will does not really resonate very strongly in the lower levels. It doesn't. Too much karma, too much karmic, because too much. You have to be judged by that, because you're operating in a sleep, in an unconscious state of being, until you start raising out of it, and then you'll realize, okay, I don't have to keep repeating the cycle or following the same cycle or getting on the same train or getting on the same ride and I wonder why I keep getting on the Wonder ride, but you keep going in Wonderville. When you're asleep, you'll repeat cycles. No freedom of choice. You don't even know that what freedom of choice is really. But as you go, you'll start noting the freedom connects. That's why I don't see it as a prison. I don't see that. Prison is you're here when you're in your lower states. Yeah, because you keep karmic wheel. Next states, you have more freedom to make more choices because your free will is kicking in more. From here, now it kicks in a little bit more, right? Kicks in a little bit more. You get more freedom of choice. More, the soul has its freedoms and is aware of them, and that it takes it making choices on its own. Even skipping some that might have even been, wasn't that something I was going to do? I changed my mind because I'm walking in my power. I choose not to. Maybe I just want to walk out of this reality into another one now. What karmic? What are you talking about, karma? I'm not operating my karma no more. I'm not cycling back and recycling in the circle. That was the whole story of the Hebrew story too, of walk. They kept walking in circles and couldn't find the three, right? The 3 miles away was supposed to be where they needed to go, but they kept wandering for 40 years. Represents a generation of wanderers who were on the karmic wheel 40 years. 3 represents the aspect of the 3, mother, father, child. This Trinity works within us. And we will have that in other videos, how that operates. Back to our show.
Entering God consciousness, also known as unity consciousness. So a being's dharma and a being's nature are one and the same. A human being's dharma is to awaken, because it's only from the awakened state of mind that we're able to access free will. Until then, we are actually operating under karma rather than dharma. And in karma, we are coming from a reactive level of being, a programmed level of being, and a mechanical level of being. Just imagine the phrases that are repeated and regurgitated over and over again that we use to describe intimate processes within our own mind. Our most intimate thoughts and intimate speech are recycled and rehearsed when we are in the state of karma. We don't have...
There's the recycle and rehearse, doing it over and over again. No change. You're going to get on the same cycle. That energy is going to meet the same energy that it is. It's not going to go in another energetic field. It can't match it. It can't go to a higher. It doesn't match it. The frequency doesn't match. That's why people, when you're talking from a higher realm of initiation or frequency-based understandings, and you're wondering, trying to share that with them that can't match that frequency and haven't been through the initiation, it's impossible. They're still cycling at another level. They can't even get off that ride yet. They said, I can't graduate and go to the next ride. I got to stay on the Ferris wheel because it's nice and slow, or the merry-go-round just to go around. I can't get on that one that maybe even goes like this, like a spiral up, or that hot rocket, or whatever it is. It's faster and faster and faster and faster. They can't do it. Why? Because they're not in a space to align with the frequency. Can't. That's why we've been trying to shove our understandings down people who cannot eat it. They cannot taste it. They cannot swallow the truth. They can't hear the truth from the level. They cannot coincide with it and bring it into themselves because they don't match it.
Have anything that is genuinely of our intrinsic nature, because we are coming from such a mechanical state of being. If karma is an unconscious or an automative state of being, we are in reactivity. This creates patterns of action that are of a reactive nature. When we are in a reactive or an automative state of being, we aren't actually practicing our own free will and self-awareness. Self-awareness belongs to Dharma, and that is what...
That would be your looping. Why you wonder why you keep looping? Because you're in that lower state. You'll loop until you become loopy to loop and get out of the loop. That's where you start moving and changing and grooving. You're being aware, is changing. You're able to come out of the state. You're able to come out of the sleepyville. You're able to arise and waken. This goes with sleep. This goes with no direction. You're just sleepyville when you're operating in karma. And karma's heavy in the 3D reality. Like I said, cosmic law, reaping and sowing, always, 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 always. And then you keep doing it and then keep following and then what light comes to you to match it when you pass. The same light's going to bring you back to the same place you were because you're not matching any higher volume of frequency to say, oh, no, this ain't your ride. This ain't the light you need.
liberates us from the mechanical state or the program state of karma. This is also why destiny is connected to dharma instead of karma. So to understand the connection between destiny and dharma, watch my video on this titled Fate and Free Will Explained, Reach Your Destiny. Dharma is the uncalcified state of being. When we're operating from dharma, we're using our free will and our discernment in any given scenario, rather than just defaulting into a dogmatic rigidness. We become open and malleable. In dharma, we assign ourselves a meaning and purpose, rather than wait for the world to assign or tell us our meaning and our purpose. And we imprint our special energy signature.
And as you know, your loved ones, your friends that are still asleep, they're always getting their information as what is the system telling us? What's the news saying? What are they telling us has happened? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. That don't work.
Signature onto the world, rather than have the world imprint onto us what it wants us to be. So in dharma, we are in a state of spiritual sovereignty. The esoteric meaning of dharma is when we have awakened into enlightenment, and by doing so have activated our conscious. Now, when I say conscious, I'm not talking about how conscious an individual is. I'm talking about their internal sense of morality. They're conscious. Because only a being who's operating from dharma will use their conscious. Before we are in dharma, we're in karma. That's when we are being told what is right and good and what is bad and wrong, rather than having it come through our own internal morality to find out in what that given scenario, what right and wrong is, because they differ depending on our scenario. A being in dharma will not follow orders. They know that historically, order following is at the root of every evil that has manifested on this plane of consciousness. A being in dharma, rather, is in spiritual sovereignty. And spiritual sovereignty is what the cosmos, the cosmic law, the natural law, is all conspiring to get us to operate from. Because spiritual sovereignty is the true nature of humanity. So our nature is to merge with infinite consciousness so as to become sovereign. And when we are sovereign, we're able to see in any given scenario what is right and good and what is bad and wrong in that setting, because it changes. We wouldn't have self-awareness, self-reflection, and reason if we weren't meant to use it. So when we use it, we are in accordance with our true nature, which is our dharma. And if dharma is cosmic law, then all of the cosmos want us to become self-aware, enlightened, and to activate our conscious. Not only for the sake of humanity being able to evolve and expand by fulfilling our duty to the cosmos, but also because that is how we know the cosmos. It's through our self-awareness, to know thyself. So our dharma is to know thyself, because in knowing thyself, we shall know the nature of the cosmos, the universe, and the gods. I hope this has helped you fulfill your dharma. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for higher dimensional guidance through spiritual awakenings. See you next time.
Wow. Let's go ahead and drop the wow. And that's why I wanted to bring that, because we, in that lower 3D realm, you can't turn in your freedom of choice because you don't have one. You're always looking for somebody to tell you what to do out of that place. It's not an awakened place, it's a sleepy place. You're looking like for leadership, or this group to do this for you, or this group to do this for you, or this special group is going to make the changes necessary. But when you come out of the karma, the samsara, cycles and rebirths, which really can cover it all from even the higher realms of dharma, is when you come that awakening ready to run through you, and you know that you know. And this is why we have to break that imprint, which is, like I said, this experience for the soul was not easy just in the fall. How about the birth? Like I said, when it's in this place in this woman, mother, portal, and like I said, births are not easy. There's a process in giving birth that the woman goes through and the baby goes through, and that's imprinted in their consciousness, known as your inner child, but that's a little bit different. That's still part of this, right? When you start having access into the higher spaces, this will even make sense later in a video we will have. So, yes, we have all the access we need to the next aspect of ourselves when we really start knowing. And when we knowing, we can break the karmic wheel. Like I said, many times we're breaking parts of it, and it's a process because this wheel keeps going like this. When I come back again, I'll clean you up. We'll go through this wheel actually represents the alchemical process. It does. Fire, water, air, earth, fermentation, gases. All that happens. It does. Gases turns into ether, right? So this is all this process that you're going through within this fire, water, earth, and air. That's why you have to be baptized with fire, because it's a refining fire when you're waking up into because it's burning everything that which doesn't need to be there, and it will have the dross. Remember, this is even the refiner's fire, that you're the trial of your faith, and the refiner's fire, and it's cleansing the dross from the gold. It's you. It's that which doesn't fit you anymore that you're getting rid of. And then you go, it may come around again because still aspects are left, and cleanse it again. Cleanse it again. We're doing this through cycles, just like I said, samsara, cycles. But even this cycle, when you're unaware and just repeating and not moving your consciousness even this much, this is when you can become stuck and not knowing through the programs. And then, through this, we even seen the baby fell, came out, doesn't remember, and we have the amnesia, which is another aspect of what we're going to be doing later. But you guys go back and pass it here on YouTube. We already did the amnesia aspect of this a few lessons ago, a few episodes ago. You guys have a great day. I appreciate you. Like, comment, share, comment, definitely talk. If you have a song that you want on Song of the Day, right, on lyrical, breaking down lyrical, give me a good song. I'll definitely put it up and break it down. You guys have a great day.